Welcome to the Rogue L&D podcast, allowing you to meet some of the brilliant folk driving people performance and development forward in an informal and human way. My name's Tom Bailey, award-winning L&D leader and passionate maverick for all things development. Join me as I ask questions of some of the industry's most innovative and interesting people.
Hey Vanessa, great to see you. How about you introduce yourself?
Thanks, Tom. Hi, I'm Vanessa Trower. I work in learning and transformation. I help businesses make learning their superpower. I take the meh training and turn it into something that people actually want to do and that leaders brag about it because it works. The best part is I get to work alongside amazing L&D teams, pulling together ideas across the business and turning them into something that feels like magic.
If I think about your work, Vanessa, what I really like about it is that you do think about the human at the end of it. And obviously people talk about human-centered design, they talk about user experience. But the stuff that you create and has won awards is stuff that really focuses on the individual and the experience that they have throughout that learning journey, which I think is not just brilliant, but it should be the benchmark for every program that is run throughout the industry. I guess I'm quite interested in, how did you come up with that? What gave you that kind of, I guess, passion for the person?
I think it's about being able to create an experience that people want to be a part of. Yes, a work life is something that people do get paid for, that I get paid for, that we all do. But it's around giving people, that extra momentum, that extra career leap, and being responsible for that. So for me, it's a more meaningful approach to it. Being able to create programs that people, they want to be a part of it and they feel really proud about it, building their capability in a more meaningful and engaging way. And it can make a real difference to the business. For me, I love that I get to use my creative mind and also tap into the business side of my brain. That mix between creativity and business really keeps me quite energized. If I think back at even when I was young, Tom, when I was 9, I wanted to, own a hairdresser, right? And I wanted to be a hairdresser and I wanted to make people feel amazing. It wasn't about the cutting of the hair. It wasn't about the money within the hairdresser. It was about people coming in and leaving feeling confident. And today I do that through L&D, and I really like that.
Yeah, nice. On what do you say? What would you say is what you're really passionate about in L&D? What really lights you up when you start thinking about campaigns that you're working on, or you're having a deep conversation with another L&D person? What's the bit that really you get fired up about?
It would have to be the fact of using the creative side of it. The fact of giving people really good experiences, and the business side of it. Yeah, I do get a bit of a thrill when I see that it has made an impact, that the team is winning or the business is winning. This is really quite common in sport, right? We see this across the board when it comes to sport, when people follow a team or they're part of a racing team or they're part of a sport and you want to see them win. I definitely feel that fire spell.
Nice. It's I like the sport analogy because it's really useful, because when people think about L&D who maybe aren't in the industry, they start thinking about training or they think about courses. But what I love is that you've already started talking about almost like, how do you bring your coaching staff with you? How do you support the business with real impact? And you're there to essentially make sure that those players do the best possible job they can. That's a really good analogy, because then they start winning and they move up the table.
Well, I've always seen it that way. Where you want to be the winning team, you want to be MVP, you want to help people be that MVP. My role in whether I'm in learning or capability is to help people feel that way. It's to help people even believe that they can achieve and they can do it. And it's being an enabler.
One thing I love about your work is when I look at some of your work, your fingerprint on it, or the what I notice about this is Vanessa's work. Part of it is around the user experience, but the other part is around the relentless focus on business impact and measures. Tell me a little bit more about that. How do you ensure that you're always hitting the business measures?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, and also thank you. That's some really kind words, and often we don't hear that. I think first and foremost, it's having really good conversations with people in the businesses, whether they are part of the senior leadership team, having really good conversations to understand where we're currently at, where we need to go. There's definitely a skill in gaining relationships, so you can build trust. So we can be transparent about where we currently are and what are some of the deeper issues. Having a mindset of, creative problem solving, looking at root cause analysis, understanding bias in decision making, coming up with a really good problem statement, exploring different options on what is possible, what can we try, and working in a real collaborative nature to be able to get there. I think the deep understanding would be key to all of that, to answer your question, and the rest of it will come naturally. Having that deep understanding, you're going to be able to make an impact and move that needle. And of course, really understanding your audience and really being able to design with neuroscience in mind, and being able to implement a program that is impactful, that is effective towards the goals and the desired outcomes. So, yeah, I think it's a mix of different things.
Yeah, nice. Love it. Which leads us on excellently to what is the best L&D campaign you've seen or been part of? And I know some of your award-winning campaigns are awesome, but what's the best one you've ever seen or been part of?
It is always really hard to pinpoint one. And I first want to say that, if any L&D person is listening to this and been part of a program with me, all of them have been really special to me.
Yeah.
They have.
We're all special.
Right? We always, they all are, right? And we think about them, even from ones from 2009, 2007, I still remember it. I go, wow, I really loved that one. Maybe I'll do it differently now, but I really loved it at the time. But I do really hold a special place in my heart for one program that I was a part of called the Homecoming Health, Safety and Wellness Initiative. It was about building capability in the health and safety of the organisation, which was across many different countries, and obviously raising awareness around health and safety. But the magic was in how it connected with people's hearts. And often in L&D, that doesn't make it into every program. And I was really proud that it made it into this program. Whilst it had, all your learning components and your knowledge building components, there was a lot of elements of storytelling in the full campaign. And to give you a glimpse of it, one part of it involved everyone in the organisation drawing a stick figure of who they wanted to come home to, their kids, their parents, their partners, their pets. And, I remember cutting these little pieces of paper out, and everyone got a texture and a piece of paper, and they had to draw a stick figure. And we created this giant mural on the wall that appeared in every location of all the drawings collectively on why we wanted to go home safe. The program stopped becoming about rules and compliance, and more became around why it really matters to come home safe. I know at the time I had my cat Kenny, and I had drawn a picture of myself and my husband, and of course my cat Kenny. And I think for a lot of people, it was a reminder when you walk into why it really matters and why we need to come home. And the program itself was called Homecoming.
Yeah, beautiful. I love it because you focused on the outcome rather than, as you said, in health and safety things, you can get wrapped up in red tape. You can become a compliance module. But actually what you did is you had that heart moment. You connected it to people's hearts, which is, this is why it's important. That's excellent. I wonder if anyone's got their stick pictures still.
Well,
If you
it's
do.
on the wall, like, one of those, turned into wallpaper on the wall
Yeah,
where
nice.
people would always go, oh, look, there's mine. And,
Yeah. There's my cat.
there's my cat. It was quite beautiful, actually. It looks like really good wallpaper. And you're right. That goes back to the impact, right? And that goal, a very clear goal around the ultimate goal in a health and safety program is that every single one of us go home safe at the end of the day.
Yeah. I love it because it's got focus on outcome, an actual outcome that's important to everybody. And like I said, it's the heart connection rather than just an arbitrary bit of academic study. It's really good.
Yeah, and often L&D, we talk about, connecting with the heart and minds with people. We say, when we're designing learning, do we connect with the hearts and minds? And I think that's a really good example when we talk about learning design, how you do that. Yes, through storytelling, but there's other ways as well.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, what's your favorite hand gesture?
Oh, look, for me, it's a tie between two, right? So from a professional level, right? So in the workplace or in a workshop, it's definitely the T for time out, left hand, upright, vertical, right hand, topping it off horizontally.
Nice.
It's perfect for the end of the workshop activity when everyone needs to time out, or at the end of this podcast, you can time me out. Or, T for Trower, bit of Trower power there. So look, the time out is, time out, everyone time out. And then in personal life, it's definitely the chef's kiss.
Oh,
as
beautiful.
a foodie, ideal for those moments when, everything's just beautifully right. And you go, chef's kiss. Yeah, that's me all the time.
What's your signature dish?
Oh, you mean making or going out and eating?
Either or two answers.
So I do have a skill in slow cooking, and I know that might not sound like a skill, but like a beef ragu.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, beef ragu, red wine.
Yeah.
Yes, anything that's slow cooked. I can make a nice Vietnamese pho. Some might pronounce it pho.
Beautiful.
Yes, I can definitely. That's what I mean. Would that be considered slow cooking? Potentially, because it's a long time to make it happen.
And what would be your go-to if you were going out tonight with your husband? You're going to go for dinner. What would be your favorite to go for? I know that's a difficult question.
Yeah, look, I have to say I do really enjoy Thai food.
Yeah.
I think Thai food is up there for me. You can never go wrong with a pad see ew or a pad Thai.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
But not the other night where you said you wanted to go for a kebab. Not a kebab then.
I haven't had a kebab in a while, but now that you say it, I might have one tonight.
Yeah, nice.
Been on a health kick, you see, so.
Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah, very good. All right. What's this trips people up a bit because they get a bit hung up on the wording, and I can clarify if you want. But what's one thing that you didn't learn?
For me, it's definitely languages. I would love to be bilingual. I gave Spanish a good solid go on Duolingo for a whole year. Some L&D folks would have seen my progress on Duolingo as a friend. And let's be honest, I did a whole year. I could probably order wine and find the bathroom in Spanish, but that's where it ends. But no disrespect to Duolingo. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I just have to own that my 5 minutes a day or 1 minute a day probably wasn't enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say languages.
I'm going to put this out there. Feel free to shoot me down. Like you, I rail against lots of traditional methods in our industry. And I'm a big believer in innovative approaches and how do we really change the heart. And anyway, when it comes to languages, which I'm also a big fan of, unless I physically go to a building and someone talks to me, I find I can't learn the language. I really struggle. So it flies against everything I believe in. But when it comes to languages, I guess it's the practicing that I really need and the pressure of someone standing in front of me going, I don't know, whatever.
It's quite interesting that you say that. One of the reasons why I really wanted to take it up, this was last year, or trying to learn Spanish, was the pressure of trying to learn something new.
Yeah.
And the different methods. So I had Duolingo, I had a tutor to practice. I tried an AI tool.
Oh, yeah.
As a conversation AI tool. So I really wanted to create a formal documentation around, that learning experiment. And I felt that the tutor was the most effective for me personally.
Yeah.
Having the practice, being able to explain was probably the most effective for me.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, no, I agree. All right. What is your proudest moment in this wonderful industry that we're in?
Yeah. Well, there are so many nice moments, isn't there? No, there's just so many nice moments, but you're asking for proudest moments. And I'll have to say, winning the Dr. Alistair of the Year award, much like you, you must be so proud too.
What year were you L&D Professional of the Year?
2020, right?
Fantastic.
During COVID.
Congratulations.
Thank you. During that awards evening, we were all at home on Zoom, receiving the award over Zoom. Yeah. But look, it meant a lot to me to be recognised for my contribution to the industry.
Yeah.
For over 15 years. The expertise, the work, the impact. That was a really proud moment. And since then, NextPerk has won Learning Partner of the Year. We won Best Capability Program, and myself last year being named Learning Consultant of the Year. It's a proud continuation of that legacy. And that's not just for me. There's a team at NextPerk, and it's really, we're really proud to be part of that together. So
yes, I was lucky enough, I think you shared it with me or showed me it, to see your award-winning piece of work, which was with a famous company on the East Coast that works with automobiles. And I don't know if we can name them or not, so I'm just not naming them. But it was an amazing piece of work. I really liked it because it goes back to what we said earlier about you focused on impact. It was almost gamified as well. It was a great experience for individuals. And I can see why it comfortably won the awards, because it's all the hallmarks that are your kind of approach as L&D Professional of the Year.
Thanks, Tom. And, I know that often this may not matter, but it also always looks good.
Yeah.
Right? So, often when we prepare a meal, we say that, we want the meal to look good. It's appealing to the eyes, right? When it comes to learning, I know that's not the most important thing, that your learning materials look aesthetically good, but it is important as well.
Yeah, totally.
And so, I'm glad you got to see that program, that it looks really good. People are really proud of it. They want to pick up the materials. It's easy to read. It was designed for, neurotypicals and neurodivergents. So it was something that we were really quite proud of, and to see that impact of that. So thank you for.
No, it was good. Testament to you and the team. And actually, just before I ask you another question, just one point, that in pet food, especially cat food, because you like your cats, in cat food, they specifically design it for the owner in mind. So, you get like Feast Fancy or whatever they're called, Fancy Feast.
The other way, Fancy
They
Feast.
make it to look like it's gourmet food for the owner, so that you go, oh, well, Percy's going to have a fine meal tonight. I'm going to make him a delicious casserole from this pouch or tin. Yeah. It's not really for the cat. Cat doesn't care.
You know what? That's really quite interesting. I'm going to open the cat food this afternoon and I'm going to have a look. I'm going to peel back that lid and go, all right.
Oh, that looks delicious. Don't eat it, though. It doesn't taste delicious. Just a warning.
Oh, no. So hold on. For the owner or for the cat?
What, the taste?
For me.
Oh,
No, the look of it. For me,
the
as
aesthetics
the
are for
owner.
you. It's being sold to you. So you think about like Felix Gravy Lover. I mean, that sounds amazing. Felix Gravy Lover, delicious. But all of that is designed for you. So you go, oh wow, my little cat's gonna get, I don't know, chunks of delicious, meaty wonderfulness with gravy on. Oh, fantastic. I'm really indulging Percy, or whatever the cat's name is.
You know what we do in reverse brainstorming, right? We do the opposite. We're like, how would you turn off the cat owner? Like, how would we make the meal to turn off? And I have opened some cat food in the past, and I go, oh no, I'm not feeding my girls that. That is rank.
Well, that's the smell as well as anything. But you imagine like just a big solid cylinder of tinned pink mush. That would probably put you off. What is your worst experience in L&D? Come on, you got to have a good story.
Oh, I do. I've got so many, right? It was actually really hard to pick one when I was thinking about this earlier on today. I was on the treadmill at the gym working out going, oh, I just need one worst experience. How many can I give, Tom? But earlier in my career, when I was much younger, and I used to do a lot of the hands-on work on the learning tech, building the LMSs, doing the HTML on the back end, I had spent all night trying to configure this new LMS. We had an LMS implementation project. I was L&D within the organization. We were across 4 or 5 different countries globally, UK, China, Middle East, Australia, New Zealand. And we wanted to roll out this LMS. So I spent all night. Here I was working on it all night. The lights are off in the building, but there's me, on the keyboard trying to work it out. So proud of my efforts. That I was trying to even reconfigure the grouping on the back end, the automatic emails, everything. And, it would have been midnight. I go, oh, I've done it. I'm so proud of myself. I've done it. I'm driven home. It was a long drive too. 45 minutes home, got home about 1 a.m. And the next morning, I didn't go to work early because I was like, oh, work's late. I'm just going to come in about 11 a.m. So I come in 11 a.m. all proud of myself, driving in. I'm like, yeah, look at me, I set it up all by myself, Anyway, I got in and everyone's face was like, have you heard of the new LMS? Have you heard of the new LMS? We all got like 80 emails overnight. So when I was reconfiguring all the audit, I was sending an email to every single person in the organization, including the board members. And I was doing test workshops, and I was writing in the email test things. Hi, I'm a new LMS. And I was writing just to see, and I thought I was only sending to me in the test one. So I spammed every single person in the whole company multiple times with multiple emails. But hey, the silver lining, it was the fastest L&D launch ever. Not one person in the company could say that they've never heard of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Beautiful. I mean, they might not like the spamming, but it's unavoidable. Everyone knows it's happened. You've made a name for yourself. So, you know, I wouldn't say that's the worst experience, but that is, that's unfortunate, but kind of fortunate.
Oh, I don't know. When you've sent the board and all the senior leadership team multiple emails all night till, midnight about different workshops, and they all come in and,
it's that moment. Yeah. You're like, moment. All right. I'll go for the award. I'd be employee of the month. All right. What? Sorry. You got how many emails? Oh, all right. There's a problem.
Well, one time even Outlook translated one of the emails into Hindi, right? I don't even know how that happened. And look, on the positive side, I think it was the CFO at the time wrote to me individually and said, but just so you know, one of the emails is written in Hindi.
The fact that they went on to
reading it.
The fact that they went on to all those emails and found one and then thought, you know what, I'm going to email Vanessa back and let her know that shows a level of engagement, if nothing else.
I mean, we never had problems training after. Everybody went onto the LMS. They knew how to log in. They knew how to find beautiful the upcoming leadership program materials. It was all there. Nice practice. It was talk of the town.
Yeah, very good. Tell me, well, look, I'm sure you've had even worse happen to you. Tell me about celebrity moment. What's the best celebrity story you've got? Don't say you've never met any or never had anything happen. Surely you've got a good celebrity story.
I don't know if I have one that's quite impressive, though. I have to say, but back in my early days, when I started working after university, I was a HR officer at the V8 supercar races.
Ooh, yeah, nice.
So I used to look after the events and do HR, and I was in the corporate box after the race. I was having a conversation with a really nice gentleman about how poorly at the time, just on that one occasion, Mark Winterbottom, the car racer, had performed during the race. And as I was talking, I glanced at the poster and realised that I was talking to Mark Winterbottom at the time. So look, he took it well, but at that moment, I felt like my body was no longer in my body, and I wanted to evaporate on the spot.
What did you say after that?
I smiled. He smiled. I smiled, and he goes, "It's all good." And he goes, "No, it's refreshing."
I want that kind of feedback.
Yeah,
nice.
I'll never forget that post. I kept the poster, just so we know.
And was he was totally cool. He was just like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Right, so calm, really calm and collected, and I have a lot of respect for him. And
I guess he's used to people telling him he's used to people telling him he's awful or he's great or whatever.
No, but he's an incredible driver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where, oh God,
That's nice. Very good. And what is something that not many people know about you?
Yeah, I suppose I'm a bit of a truth seeker. I don't know if you know that, Tom.
Say that
I ride
again?
a motorbike, thrill seeker.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I ride a motorbike. I've gone skydiving, whitewater rafting in Europe. I've travelled to almost 30 countries.
Yeah.
It's maybe why I started my own business. I'm okay with the big leaps, and I'm even comfortable sometimes landing flat on my face. Not on the motorbike, but I mean, generally speaking, taking a risk. It probably also goes to me trying different things and experimenting. I'm happy to give it a go and the thrill of it, even though I'm okay if I'm not good at it on the first one. I'm okay having a go of it.
Yeah. And for those interested, what is your motorbike?
You know what? It's a 1996 Cruiser. It's a Yamaha Virago.
Great. Means nothing to me, but maybe someone knows.
Nice and relaxed. You can imagine an old classic bike. It is over 25 years old.
So not a sports bike. So like a tourer.
No,
like a touring
it's
bike.
An old classic bike. You could think about that. Just think of the handlebars quite high, black leather seats, nice black bike sitting up straight. You could think of that bit of a Harley Davidson look with those classic kind of looks. Yeah,
very bikey.
I don't know if I'm very bikey. I do have a Louis Vuitton bag on the side of it, just so we know.
You don't? Okay, yeah. Nice. Beautiful. I didn't know that, and I'm not sure many people would know that. What is your best advice for others? So when you meet, let's say we're standing here in, I don't know, some conference or event at L&D, and I go, "Oh, Vanessa, I think you're amazing. I saw you on the Rogue L&D podcast. What's your advice for me starting out in my career in L&D?"
I just firstly want to acknowledge that voice you put on. Brilliant. So right. Brilliant.
Yeah, thank you. That was a younger version of myself voice.
Yes. Oh, look, I will say value other people's skills. The best results come from teams or people that recognize and build on each other. And I think that's where the magic happens. It's not about competing. It's about complementing each other and working together. I think, I was speaking to a senior L&D consultant in the learning industry this morning. And, one person might look at us and go, we're, both learning providers, we're both learning consultants, and are we competitors? And we were talking about it this morning, we're like, absolutely not. We both come with our own unique skill set. When I go into an organization as an L&D consultant to support their L&D and capability and leadership initiatives, I recognize the strength that that L&D person or team that brings, and they recognize the skill and capability that I bring. And so I think the best advice that I can give people, and we could bring this back to EQ, but I think, to sum it up, that best advice is to value other people's skills. You get the best results when you work together and you really acknowledge it.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, we've worked together on a council, industry council before. So I totally agree. And I think it's such a good point, because we should be elevating each other. That's how we grow as an industry. And we're not a big practice, right? Especially when you think about people trying to do innovative L&D that really moves the needle. It's not actually that many of us. So the more we can support each other, the more we can help each other, I think and collaborate is, I think, a really good thing. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's quite interesting with, your L&D capability frameworks out there and L&D skill sets. Often I find that people want to master all of them. And my advice would be, and I do this with myself, do you really need to master all of them? Or should you really be selecting the ones that you're authentically good at, that you really enjoy, that you need in your day-to-day role? And if you strengthen those, then that becomes part of your authenticity, and it becomes part of your personal brand and portfolio, that's what you've mastered. The other parts in those capability frameworks, could you collaborate with someone? Yes, you might need to know the baseline or foundational, so you have a level of understanding, but could you reach out to someone who has a lot of strength in that and work together? Rather than spreading yourself thin and trying to work everything out. There's a lot happening in the L&D tech, AI and digital space. It would be unreasonable to ask every leadership consultant, learning consultant, capability consultant, talent advisor to be across all of that. Should they not just collaborate,
Yes.
and work with someone? So I think this is where the best advice is value other people's skills, and let's be comfortable within ourselves around what we want to master, what our strength is, and then work with others who excel in that. And I think that will create some incredible magic, rather than trying to be good at everything.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vanessa. I know we've been planning this for probably over a year, but thank you for your time. I'm glad we got it in the diary. We've managed to spend that time together.
Not that long, everybody. Not that long.
Yeah, it's probably longer. Thank you, Vanessa. I really appreciate it.
Thank you to our guest and to you for listening. If you want to boost the impact of your organisation's people development practices, I'd love to connect. You can find me at thomasbailey.co. Alternatively, you can look me up on LinkedIn.